back to my channel again. So this is Real Talk with Becca. I film about faith, relationship, marriage, and all that good stuff. Okay, so we are hosting our first guest on this channel today. I'm super excited for this episode. I know that we are going to get so much value from the from everything that is going to be said, and I have a wonderful couple on the channel this day. Can you please give them a round of applause as we welcome our guests? So guys, welcome the OWUNNAs with me on this channel. Hashtag something like also. Please, I would just like you to introduce yourself. Tell us about yourself. What do you do? How can we find you? And stuff like that. So let's go.
Let's start with investors.
I don't understand. You know, ladies first.
Guy, no, it's investors first, money first.
Alright, so my name is Victor Chibike OWUNNA. I'm an accountant. I'm also a social media manager, and I love to invest. I actually teach about investing, personal finance, money, etc. And then I work freelance as an accountant as well. And I also manage a couple of social media accounts.
Wow, so much to unpack. Alright.
Okay, so my name is Jessica T. OWUNNA. I'm Victor's wife, obviously. I am a content marketing specialist. I'm a senior content marketing specialist. I create content for B2B SaaS brands. I also am a relationship and career coach for people between the ages of 13 to 25 years, because I believe that that's a very defining time of their lives, and you know, it's better for them to make a better decision which will set them up for success going forward. And also, I like to invest. I like to invest. But first,
how would you like to invest?
I like to invest in shawarma. Oh, I invest in shawarma. Don't try me.
Shawarma or pasta.
Thank you so much. So many things said. Definitely going to put your handles on the screen if you need any thing regarding to what they have said. Okay, so the title is already displaying what we are discussing today. So the topic is, how long should you be in a relationship before you get married, right? Or before you can think of, oh, I think we are ready, let's just get married. Some persons have the opinion, you know, that the longer the relationship, the better the marriage. Like if a person courts for a long time, then you are automatically liable to have a better marriage. Yeah, so I just want us to debunk that topic, debunk that mindset, and then from there. So let me ask you, I know you guys were in a relationship for quite a long time.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's we were in a relationship since 2019. We got married in 2022. I don't remember marks again. So that is like 4 years. Yes, 4 years. But then we were friends since 2018, so that's like 5 years. Yes.
Awesome. Yeah. So how was your relationship period? Like that period, how was it? Just how was it?
Okay, so I will go first. First and foremost, before I started dating Victor in 2018, I was going through a very funny season of my life. People used to say they are going through a lot. So I was going through a lot. I had gone through a lot relationship wise. So when he started asking me out, I didn't even give him the light of the day at all. He was not even on my list at all, and he knows that he was not on my list at all. But somehow, I don't want to go into the whole story, right? But somehow, I was able to see, okay, he's the person for me. So I said, okay, let's just try and get into a relationship. So we started dating as at 2019. And one mistake that people make when they are dating is that they see dating as a period of that lovey-dovey stage where they are always being happy with each other, trying not to step on each other's toe. You know, for example, if the lady mess, the guy will tell her that mess is smelling like perfume. You know, or maybe just some very and then the guy will be going out of his way to be buying a lot of stuff for her to please her and so on. It was not that way for us. So I guess because we were friends, and people have this notion where they say that friends cannot work when it comes to dating. Friendship destroys when you start dating. Don't mess up a perfectly good thing. In our case, when we started dating, we started having issues from the first week that we started dating because personality types started clashing. For example, everybody thinks Victor is a jovial, laughing person. And me, I'm a serious person. I'll be clear you now. Me, this is the me that I've seen. That is all that I've seen. All the seriousness that I've seen starts and ends things to the higher level.
I think I know.
No, they can be extremely strict. Me, I don't like being strict. Treat me as a baby girl crying out loud.
No, baby girl that I am, please.
He likes being very, very serious and very strict. So that thing made us that was where we started having some level of issues back and forth and so on. So our relationship was a period of intentionally getting to know each other, getting to learn more about each other, getting to learn to tolerate each other and so on. I have a lot to say, but I want to pause here so that he can speak.
All right.
All right, so for me, getting to, date Jessica Theory, Owunna.
You still call me Orika all the time.
Oh yeah, so I was in a relationship when I got to know her, when I got to see her, the family house back then, NCCA. And I was in a very committed relationship, but we had a whole lot of challenges, back and forth. And then I just noticed her and I was like, oh wow, this girl is fine,
And he was coming to me for counsel for his relationship. You have to add.
And I was doing Indomie for her.
I was cooking noodles for me, the best noodles of all time.
So like being in a relationship with her from the beginning, I guess the reason why we had a lot of challenges, like, personality clashes at the beginning was because people often see the outer part of me, like, the jovial, sanguine, but I can be very, very serious. I can be very, very assertive. I can be, especially when that person is very close to me. So you tend to now think that why you being nice to people outside
Yeah.
and you're not being nice to me. I should be the one to be enjoying that. But so that made us really have a lot of back and forth, But over time, I got to realize that okay, there is something called personality differences, and then you need to walk around it. I don't necessarily have to make her to be in a certain way. Sure. I just have to understand her, and then we can find a way to compromise. So it was a learning phase, a lot of learning that we had that time, and just grateful to be here today.
I can relate so much to what you guys have said, because when I started my relationship with my husband, now actually when we started courting, right? Very first date that we had, that was where I saw how this man eats fast. I don't like eating fast. You get the very first date where I even told him, okay, I'm accepting your proposal. Yeah. Like he had proposed earlier and I delayed it. So I just organized a date for us to declare to him that, okay, I've accepted. So I asked him, I said, is this how you eat? He said, yes. Oh yes, he said yes. I said, wow, you could not even pretend for me like this is our first date, we're crying out loud. He said, I'm sorry, but this is me. I'm not sure I can pretend. Yeah, so that made me really know what I was getting into really early.
Yeah.
Even if he was going to change, I was not going to change him. Mm-hmm. He's going to change on his own.
Yeah.
But it's something I can deal with.
Something negative.
It's not exactly. It's not something negative. It's something I can live with. So why not? Yeah. So I think I relate so much to the person that you really want something good with. You won't pretend to them.
Yeah.
You won't pretend. So I just want to say that if you're in a relationship and somebody is pretending, you can actually smell when a person is is not being themselves. Like when they are putting up a show, you can always know that maybe it is time to say, bros or sis, what are we doing? Honestly, because if he's putting up a show with you, then maybe he has a material motive.
Exactly.
All right. So moving on to the second question now. So how did your long-term relationship? How did it prepare you for your marriage?
Wow. Man, I would say that it was a lot of learning and unlearning, and relearning, throughout that, I think, 4 years. At the beginning, it looked like it was going to be smooth sailing, you saw this fine girl, you're dating her, and then you think everything's going to be so smooth. But then, when I started to notice the things I mentioned earlier, and I started realizing that I had a lot of work to do. I remember before we started dating, I met her one time and we were having a conversation, and then she was like, oh, Victor, what's your purpose? And nobody has ever asked that kind of question, even my parents. They've not asked me what my purpose is. Of course, I knew that a purpose means that you have to be going somewhere, have a dream, have a vision. But then, for a lady who were just friends, why are you so concerned about my purpose? So I didn't even know the answer to give her. All I just said was, I know I'm going to be in a place where I'll be speaking to a lot of people. I'll be, an activational speaker. I'm going to be like someone who's going to be, helping people, transforming lives. That was all I just said. And I was really jittering because I was like, this is unusual to have this kind of question. But then, as we went through the relationship process, I started to realize that it was necessary to have those foundational questions are answered, because without understanding those basics, then it's like you're just riding on a ship without a captain, you know, without understanding where you're going to, or without a map, right? Knowing where you're going to. So it prepared me, because I started to become intentional about you know, reading, understanding, you know, marriage, the concept of marriage. I read the 5 temperaments. I listened a lot to Miles Monroe, listened a lot to Apostle Joshua Selman. I started to take learning serious, because I knew that, okay, this is not, I'm not doing, you know, you just test it, if it's not working, you jump out. I wanted to be in something that was, exactly, I wanted to be committed to this one, and I saw that she was also willing to be committed, so that gave me that push to continuously work towards being a better person. And so that was how it helped me.
Question from her actually literally pushed you to really go out of your way, out of your comfort zone, to really find yourself. So I think that's also another good sign, that a relationship has a goal in mind, that a relationship is heading somewhere good for you. You should be, and I'm very sure there were some things from him that also pushed you, kind of. I'm very sure. So let me not speak here, but for you.
Okay, all right. So I think when it comes to how having a long courtship defined me, I think the first thing I will start with what he said, which is purpose. So the reason why I was asking Victor the question about purpose wasn't because I was the most serious person in this world, but it was because of the fact that I believe in direction. I believe in, when you are doing something, you should have direction. See, I've been in relationships, I think like 10 or more.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Hallelujah.
I've been in a lot of relationships. I knew what it meant to date somebody who is just tall, dark, handsome, but is very dead spiritually, does not even know where the person is even going to, and so on. So I wanted to prevent that for myself, because at some point in my life I sat down with God and started asking God, okay, these are the qualities that I want, right? But I want you to show me the qualities I should be looking out for. So that was where I started learning qualities of, he needs to have the fear of God, he needs to be a teachable person, he needs to be somebody who has direction. So some of these things are things that I noticed in Victor, but the one that was not clear on was purpose, because for crying out loud, I used to joke a lot. So in my life, I'm like, wait, oh God, I'm not going to be sitting and be laughing every morning, afternoon, evening. I cannot possibly be laughing every morning, afternoon, evening. I need to know that we are heading towards a particular place and so on. So when I asked him that purpose question like 5 times. Now, the answer that he actually gave me, it don't give me so much peace, because how can you tell me that you are an activational speaker? Is it giving blood? Is it giving money? So at that time, I knew that, okay, there was a place that he was working in and so on. I guess I've never really been money focused. I strongly believe that when it comes to a relationship, it's a partnership, right? It's not only the man that knows the way. Both of you are partnering together. God reveals it to you too, so that you can know. So I guess that's what really pushed me beyond every activational speaker thing he was saying. I could see beyond that, because of specific things that God had told me about him. The second thing that the whole thing prepared me for was honesty. Honesty, complete and total honesty. See, when people enter relationships, they have this issue where they are not open with the person that they are dating. They don't tell them what their past was like. They feel like, my past does not really matter, you know, and then what I'm doing currently is actually what matters, and so on. I'm sorry to say, but in a way, at times, we use past to establish track record. Number one. Number two, we're not using the past to judge you. Any sensible person knows we're not using the past to judge you. We are just using the past to learn what you used to be, so that we can truly see if you have changed. Why did God tell us that once I was that song that says Amazing Grace, how sweet they sound, I once was lost but now I'm found. Why do you have to say I once was lost? When you want to share your salvation story to a person, why do you tell the person, this is who I was before and this is who I am now? It's because you are trying to establish a track record for somebody to see how much growth you have had over time. So when I was entering the relationship, or even before I said yes, I sat Victor down and I told him, Victor, look at me, this is me. Go and pray. If you are still sure that you want to go ahead with it, and you can come, let us go ahead. He went and he prayed, and somehow he was convinced that he was sure. I don't know how God did it for him. But he still came. He still came, and and then as a result, right, we started our relationship off on a foundation of honesty. We were able to build on a foundation of honesty, and it strengthened our friendship too. So the entirety of everything is friendship, the honesty that comes from it, and the intentionality about our friendship, our partnership. Those are the three things that the courtship prepared me for and prepared him for. So I think.
And let me just add something here for someone who is watching this. When Jessica opened up to me about her past, when we opened up to each other about her past, me personally, it wasn't. Yes, I prayed about it and I felt peace. And I was convinced to still go ahead, but it wasn't easy at the first, the first few days after I learned about, some things. And I'm saying this because you may be thinking, oh, your wife to be or your fiancé told you some things, or your fiance told you some things, and then you're like, man, I can't deal anymore. It's beyond that, right? We have to have that, kingdom mindset. It's about purpose. It's about fulfilling God's mandate through us. And so I had to just keep myself out of it and ask myself, okay, beyond all this, can God still use us? Yes. And so I had that conviction and I completely moved. So you might feel somehow, but then praying about it and then trusting God that, okay, this is beyond me, right, would help you obviously go beyond that.
Yeah, most especially when you're sure that God is involved and God will have you to be with that person. Yeah. Okay, so the third question, what are the pros and cons of a long-term relationship? Right?
Personally, I want to first of all start by saying that when you have the opportunity to get to learn about each other for a considerable number of, maybe months or years, it kind of helps with familiarizing yourself with who the person is, what the person likes. You fight, you quarrel. Some people even do it intentionally. They push each other to the wall to see how they are going to react. But some of the pros I would say is, number one, it helps you to actually have a personal connection or friendship, like she said. When you date or when you court for a long time, both of you are able to establish some level of, friendship with each other, because at the end of the day, even in marriage, I think it's friendship that really counts, because people say, oh, the love, love is blind, but it's in marriage that the eyes will open. but in the truth of the matter, like in marriage, that same friendship you had in courtship is what you would just take into the marriage, and then whenever things happen, you're able to still find that, that balance. So another pro, of course, when it comes to courtship is that it helps both of you to be able to chase your visions together better, right? When you have established what you really want together from the stage of courtship, you can actually discover how much you can play a part in each other's vision, and then it also helps you deal with self, because sometimes when you are with someone and you are someone who is probably, you're a choleric, you're a visionary, you want to pursue things, and then you're working with someone now, you have to actually, the person has to buy into what you're doing, and the person has to be a part of what you do. It can be difficult, but when you spend time together, going through the vision, working together, talking about a whole lot, then both of you are able to see that, okay, we're not here just for me to benefit alone, but both of us are here to actually benefit together. And together we can achieve, greater things together. So a con for me would be the dangers of becoming, what's the word now?
Sexually intimate.
I
don't know why people
Let me tell you the honest truth. Let me tell you the honest truth, man. We struggled in that area. Yeah. We actually had a lot of struggle. And that's why for me, you mustn't be in courtship for a long time if you know you can actually make it short and still go ahead with marriage. Some people even have to do probably 4, 5, 6 months because they know that they ought to, but it'll be firewood. But we courted for about 4 years, and trust me, it wasn't easy. There were a whole lot of temptations that sometimes we had to even go and meet our mentors to encourage us, and we had to come out open, like, sir, we are struggling with this thing, like, help us. So if you leave us, it will wreck. So that's one of the cons, because if you don't define exactly what both of you want in the courtship season, considering the timing and all that, you have to also get to know your parents, your relatives, your siblings, and all that. You will just end up getting intimate, and then at the end of the day, then the flavor is lost.
Nothing come out.
Nothing come out. You don't want to get to that point where you now get intimate with someone who God has designed for you, and then you lose the drive to actually still pursue with this person, because of course God will still forgive, God will still, redeem, but then you don't want to mess the I don't call it now, the flavor.
You don't want to destroy testimony that have been avoided.
Yes, and just to mention, another thing is you don't want a case where when you finally enter into marriage, then there is nothing else to uncover,
right?
And then you want to transform lives, but then you have so many things that you can't say confidently anymore because
the place of almost falling into sexual sin, into the actual act of having sex, and then the whole stress that will now come with you worrying, have I gotten pregnant or not? We thank God that we did not have to deal with that. But as somebody who has had such kind of experience in the past, this is what I have learned so far. I think that one of the most important things, anybody, say you are listening to this, for example, and you've fallen into sexual sin, for example, I personally would advise you to be accountable to somebody.
Yeah.
The reason why you should be accountable is not because the person is going to have control over your life. The Bible says that in the multitude of counsel, there is safety. If you had the counsel beforehand, I think that is the difference between my relationship with Victor and every other relationship that I had in the past. Openness of heart, accountability. Because if you are not open to counsel, right, what you will do to yourself is that you will become guilty and ashamed, dealing with it alone, thinking that you will not fall again. Or you will fall like bread. Is it bread? Like mango, anything, you will fall. And the thing is that if you truly love God, I'm talking to people who love God. If you love Jesus, if you honor Jesus, you will not make excuses for it. You will figure out a way to make sure that it stops. At times, it could mean ending the relationship because the person does not share a similar value system with you in that regard. But yes, the person is not even remorseful at all. But if the person shares a similar value system with you, both of you can carry yourself to go and meet somebody. See, we're not saying that the pastor you're going to go and meet is perfect, or that spiritual elder that you're going to go and meet is perfect or not. Stop looking at whether people are perfect or not. You self, you're not even perfect. Meet the person because the person has the counsel and can encourage you. Some people are so afraid of, oh, what if this person now uses me to preach and so on. Guy, that is not what your own problem should be at this point. What your problem should actually be is that you are drowning. You need somebody to help you.
Yeah.
If you care about your relationship with God, you will ask God, God, direct me to a person who will keep me accountable for so and so. And you trust God for discernment, because there are some people that take advantage of you in moments where you are down. Very, very important. So just the fact that acknowledge in your heart that you fall into sin and you open to accountability. A major con too is the place of over-familiarity. So I thank God that did not take roots for me and Victor, because it could have happened. The place where you are seeing the person, our relationship was not a long distance relationship. He knows my house, I know his house. So we can see and we attend the same church. We actually breathe the same air. We actually do, like, we are in the same groups. So at times, that time I'm wondering, hey, if we now break up, it means that my own life has finished, because our life was so entangled in each other that it was really difficult and so on. So the thing is, at times, over-familiarity can come in where you're like, who is this person to be giving me this advice or be telling me this thing, and then so on. So you don't want to listen to what the person is saying. But maintaining a humble heart and an open heart and realizing that this person that you're going to marry is going to become one flesh with you. There's no point hiding anything. There's no point trying to form anything and so on. Yes, you people will argue, you people will shout. Will they shout? You people You people argue. I guess it comes with our personality types, and we are learning to be better. I think when I look at where we were before and now, before, if we want to have maybe we're arguing and we're talking to each other, we are doing who has the loudest speech. Babe, what is wrong with you? Babe, what is wrong? This, that, babe. But now God has helped us in the sense that we can sit down and have a proper conversation without, shouting at the top of our voices, or, getting to a point where I'm not asking, do you know that I am the man of this house? Sir, I know, I can see you. I can see you. But then thank God that it did not get to that point. I feel like if people spend their courtship asking themselves some hard questions and paying attention to things that they should pay attention to, instead of paying attention to shawarma, like I think I like shawarma. Or be paying attention
the statement is just
several
like, the whole butterflies in the belly, when you enter the marriage,
be distracting.
Not necessarily that. Like, people feel like, they want to still feel that same butterfly in the belly in marriage, and then all of a sudden they're not seeing
the relationship. Even in the relationship, the time when I feel butterfly in my belly, well, they can come and just one small thing can really kill every butterfly they are feeling. So one little thing. So I feel like the thing comes and it goes. It's not like a very static thing. So that's why I'm not expecting to always have that whole smiley moment. People really avoid conflict, and that is what the problem is. I'm a big believer in we need to understand each other better. How are we going to grow if we don't understand how to communicate to each other better?
Would you say that the longer the relationship, really, the better the marriage? Like, would you say your marriage is actually, because truly I've heard people say it, I've been in a relationship with him for a long time, we are definitely having a better marriage. Do you understand? Is it true?
Does it mean courtship now, right?
Courtship, yes.
The longer the courtship.
The longer, yeah. Is it true?
So personally, I feel like when it comes to courtship, there's no one size fits all method for timing. We cannot say that if we are dating for 3 years, for example, that it now determines that the marriage will now be very perfect and so on. We cannot say that if we are dating for 10 years, that means that we will have a perfect marriage and so on. No, I think what really defines how your marriage goes is the quality of activities you were doing while in the courtship. Some people, some people stay in courtship for 3 years, 10 years, and all they were doing is, hello, babe, how far now, babe, have you eaten, have you not eaten, can I buy you, as if, I don't understand this question, what are you wearing, can you actually send me a photo so that I'll see it, and so on. They are not discussing destiny matters that move themselves forward. They are not discussing, okay, babe, what are your plans right now, where are you going to, this, that, and so on. What is the next phase of your career? What are you supposed to be doing at this point? How many kids should we have?